Evening, boys.
Evening, Sally.
Welcome to The Chatting, your local pubcast. I'm Rob.
I'm Kirk.
I'm Mark.
And I'm the other Mark. 3 pints, Sally. And what are you having?
I'll have a porn star martini.
Cheers. I'll fetch him over.
Evening, chaps.
Evening, Rob.
Evening. You all right?
Yeah, all good, all good.
I'm good. Are we recording, actually?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Mark,
Where's Mark?
Mark's not here.
Oh, should I stop it? What?
Well,
No?
where is he? What's he doing?
I don't know. Hang on.
Oh, he's here. He's here.
Chuff it out.
Where have you
What you
been?
got?
I'm printing this off, aren't I? This email with...
Printing?
Yes, printing.
What? Hang on a minute.
Yeah, what? I've got...
You printed off an email.
Yeah, what's so weird about that?
Don't you get it on your phone?
Well, that's a bit old
you
school.
would print it off.
I've had to print it because we've got us first email.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay,
hence why I printed
intrigued,
it.
I'm intrigued.
So,
Is there a fanfare for this?
what, I think there should be. So guys, I've got this email
Go on then.
from Seb.
Yeah.
And this is what he says. He says, "Hi lads, a cracking podcast, really enjoying it. Having listened to your first episode, I saw this tweet this morning and it got me thinking about what used to be completely acceptable when we were kids, but are now absolutely no-nos. I remember being able to buy a box of matches from the local garage at 10 years old. Cheers, Seb." So thanks, Seb, for that. Thank you.
Well, thank
Brilliant,
you.
thank you.
Absolutely.
That's a brilliant question, that, isn't it?
That's a young arsonist, that, isn't it?
I mean, matches. Remember matches?
Yeah,
Chuff it out, yeah.
God, yeah. So things that you used to be able to what was acceptable.
Oh, where do we start?
My gosh. But that is a sign of the times, that, isn't it? Buying matches.
When you were 10.
When you were 10.
Yeah.
What's interesting is the fact that he says he remembers being able to buy a box of matches from a shop at 10 years old.
No, he said garage.
No, garage, yeah.
Yeah,
well,
petrol station.
Petrol station. Yeah, I remember being able to buy them from the ice cream van.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, the ice cream van used to come round the estate. You remember?
Did he sell
Mark?
fags?
So
Or just-
she.
Oh, so she. Right, okay.
Yeah, you've got to get that right.
Yeah,
because
oh,
we
Oh,
used
right.
to.
Or is it they?
Well, no, it's definitely she. And because some of us used to get her to get the stuff what was ever under the counter, because she used to bend down under the counter and you could see down the top.
That's the only reason Kirk started smoking.
That's it.
Hey, that makes you think. Buying fags, cigarettes.
Yeah.
I mean, what age were you buying cigarettes?
My parents listen to this podcast.
So he's going to say 18.
They don't know how young I started smoking. So
Are they going to find out in this podcast?
Absolutely not. We're going to bypass that question completely. But what I do remember is being able to buy cigarettes and matches and stuff from the ice cream van that used to come round.
That is weird.
Round the estate.
I never even knew that were a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't.
That's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, to the point where parents sometimes used to send the kids out to get.
Well, I remember that because we used to have vans, didn't we? That used to come around and, sell groceries, cigarettes and things. And
Well, maybe that was it. But, all right, so maybe you weren't smoking, but did anyone ever send you up to get... I mean, bear in mind, you couldn't have sent me up at 21 to get fags. I still wouldn't have been sold them at 21.
wouldn't have been
I didn't
served,
look
no.
old enough. But you looked older than me.
Yeah.
Could you get away with getting fags at a certain age, you think?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like Seb put in his email. It was just more accepted.
I didn't have
yeah.
any family members that smoked, so it wasn't something I'd done, but I do remember the fact that, man, we all remember this, being able to smoking just everywhere. Like it was everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, on buses, pubs, obviously, but even like down to places like, they were smoking in hospitals.
hospitals, yeah, in the
Hospitals, yeah.
canteens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think, this is mental.
They used to
Yeah.
smoke in the beds, in the wards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could smoke on planes at one point.
Yeah.
Not that I remember it, but you
And
could.
the
I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, I don't remember being on a plane when you could, but I definitely remember that you could smoke
Well, they've
on
still got
planes.
ashtrays in them.
On buses, it were upstairs, wasn't it?
Well, yeah,
You have
so
to go
it-
upstairs on buses. Or
Yeah,
something
so
like
it used to be
Yeah.
everywhere on a bus. Then they did it to upstairs.
Upstairs.
Then it was upstairs at, the back.
Yeah.
Do you know what you've
Especially
just
school
said?
bus.
I don't know why I know this, but it's a legal requirement. I'm sure it's a legal requirement for an aeroplane to still have an ashtray on board, because there has to be somewhere to put a cigarette out if anyone lit one.
What?
Wow.
I
Yeah,
don't
so
know.
if you notice now, all airplanes have still got an ashtray in them.
I just thought they were old
Near
airplanes.
it's not on your seat, it's near a door apparently. There is still an ashtray on every
Right.
plane for somewhere to properly be
How
able to
big's this
extinguish a
ashtray? Is it
cigarette.
for one cigarette or for like everybody on plane?
Well, I've no idea.
I mean,
I don't know why I know that, but
Why
it
would
come
you
up
know
with
that?
recently, something recent I saw or read or watched, and yeah, no, like, Why would they? It was someone brought it up, random facts. Aeroplanes
be
still
you.
have them on them.
That's right. I mean, I remember when I worked at petrol station, and I used to smoke in the office, doing my work in the office at a petrol station. This is the thing, you know.
At a petrol station, yes.
I remember when we first started working in the hotels, which I know it was a long time ago, but it doesn't seem like that long ago. And obviously, we'd serve food in a function. You know, we'd clear the dessert plates or whatever. Because
Next to ashtrays.
And then it was somebody's job to go and put the ashtrays out on the tables. You know.
It's funny, isn't it? Because you even think about these places where it wasn't just the people that were visiting places that could smoke. It was you could smoke at work in these places.
Yeah.
You know, like the air hostesses stood at the back just having a fag while they're working.
Having
You
a
think,
crafty fag, yeah.
Mental. How much have we lost in revenue from people now going out and not being able to work while they're doing it?
Yeah.
You know, the whole vaping thing, has that become a thing yet where you can vape at your desk? Surely that's going to become a thing. Surely businesses are
What
going
you
to go, why are we making
they
them go
treat
outside?
it exactly the same as smoking, don't
Well,
they?
so when you say a thing, do you mean as in it's acceptable for them to vape or not acceptable for
Yeah,
them to vape?
no, as in where it's acceptable because now, but there's so many bars that people are vaping in.
Yeah, the biggest problem with vaping at the minute is that no one actually knows.
Yeah, it's
like
the unknown risks.
how good or how bad. Don't forget the whole reason why the smoking was such a thing is because people didn't understand fully the dangers of it. So
Yeah.
you know, I think it was even advertised. Maybe you might remember this, Mark.
Oh, here we go.
It was advertised that it was good for you at some point.
Particularly menthol cigarettes back in the day. I mean, my parents smoked, and it was the done thing to smoke. If you didn't smoke, people looked at you as in, "What? You don't smoke?" You know. But yeah, I think it was encouraged, shall we say, to smoke a little bit.
Yeah.
Not
I mean,
heavily, but you know,
The fact that there's nothing good that comes out of vaping, but it is the lesser of the two evils, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we think. That's
Yeah,
the
I
thing,
think
Rob.
It's all
Absolutely,
opinion
yeah.
based, isn't it, still now? Because
Yeah,
the research is not there yet.
Yeah, the research is just not done, and now we're at a point where I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but with the new legislation that's coming in, I think it's anyone that's 14 or younger now. Anyone that's 14 or younger will never be able to legally buy a packet of cigarettes because every year they're going to put the age up.
yeah.
Every year. So anyone that I think that's right. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So anyone that's 14 or younger now will never be able to legally buy a packet
Yeah.
of cigarettes.
Well, if you're not right, somebody will write in.
Somebody will absolutely write it, and you'll print it off on your printer.
Of course, I'll print it off. Yeah.
In black and white to save on ink.
Well, probably grayscale because you do it in
Draft.
grayscale.
On draft setting.
Yeah.
Do you know what's mad? That when we talk about things that are complete no-nos now, but used to be okay in the past, even just simple things like playing out as a kid. Like now, it's kind of, I won't say it's a no-no, but
Parents are a little bit more. Ooh,
It's
I'm not
something
sure.
that, yeah, we talked about this, me and Ellen, when we were nipping out on Christmas Day, and we'd seen one person on what was obviously a Christmas present. But when we were kids, everyone were out on the new push bike or the football or something that they got for Christmas. They were outside playing with it. But obviously everything now, everyone's, it's a computer, this, that or the other, isn't a bit of tech.
Yep.
Everyone's indoors.
I mean, I don't see kids playing outside anymore. Every now and again, I'll see an electric scooter fly past at what looks like 45 mile an hour. Yeah. Past window, and you go, wow.
With a drug dealer on it.
with the little bags.
Yeah, with a little man
Yeah, it
bag.
looks like a child, but
But
it's
I'd
not.
say something that would absolutely petrify me as a parent now, and I absolutely loved it when I was younger, was skipping down the woods, camping out. We did it, didn't we? There were loads of us used to camp out, little fire, take a couple of tins of beans and sausages and whatever, and some slices of bread, and you'd be like,
That sounds like a weekend out for me.
Well, I remember that den that we built down the wood, and we actually built it underground.
Yeah.
And we dug it all out.
Underground?
Yeah, so we dug
sort of. It was in like
it was already in like a
ditched area.
Well,
I'd
you
say.
You're taking
area.
spades with you,
We all
digging tunnels or something.
dug it all out, lined it all with tarpaulin, put a top on it, put a roof on it, camouflaged it all. And the thing is, it was that big. I bet it would have held 14, 15 people.
It held quite a few people.
Sounds like a dungeon.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and then we put a treehouse, like a treehouse on almost like a sentry that looked over the field, and then someone used to lay on there with an air rifle.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if I remember rightly, one of them painted it white. Can you remember? We need to paint this. We were walking through the field, we're like, what? And you could see it glowing.
It was meant to be camouflage. It was just bright. Somebody had painted it bright white.
Yeah.
And did not other kids so come and get in your treehouse or
Well, most people used to stop out with us, so we were, we're quite a large group of people. That
The thing is, it's probably safer doing that because you knew everyone.
Yeah.
You know, like I would say, when you think about kids wanting to sleep over, I remember just going to mum and dad. They didn't even know whose house I wanted to sleep at. Like, can I go and sleep at Matthew's? Yeah. And like, they don't even know who he is. They don't know. They certainly don't know who his parents are.
Yeah.
And you think, you know, I don't think people are as willing now to let the parents just go to someone's house they don't know.
No.
And obviously what you're saying is that's probably better because although they're going into woods, they're with a large group of people who you all know and you know them.
Well, that's the thing. It's funny because Mark's saying that, you know, probably wouldn't dream of letting our kids do it now. And I agree with you. I agree with my kids. But yeah, you know, looking back at our experience, we never did anything wrong.
No.
Do you get what I mean?
No.
We never. All we was. In fact, it taught us so many skills. I mean, we learned how to build things and how to create
Boy Scout,
proper
Kirk, yeah.
campfires.
Building's questionable.
Well, yeah, but we still did it. I mean, you think about it.
Teamwork.
You know, we'd have been like, what, 14 years old or 15 years old. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were building
Life
dens.
skills.
You know, we were setting fires, but building proper fires.
It was
Setting
controlled.
buildings on fire.
We cooked, yeah. But we weren't doing anything.
We weren't malicious, were we?
No, not at all. So actually, all the memories that we've got of that are very positive memories. But yet, we're still in a situation of we wouldn't. Well, I agree with Mark. I wouldn't let my children go and do that. You know, and I wonder why that. You know, why is it? Is it because the times that we're in now are that? Is it?
I think.
Is it more dangerous times?
I think so. I think it's. Well, the world. You say the world's different. I think you see the world differently because you're looking at the world through social media, and all you see is there's a lot of negative stuff. And you know, we might have gone down and done what we were doing in the woods, and there were only a very small number of people who knew that we were doing it. Kids now might put it on social media that they're doing it, and then 1,000 people might find out that they're doing it and attract people. And so it's different.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that.
It's
like
when kids have. You see these horror stories, don't you, where someone's had a house party and they've put it on Snapchat or whatever, and 1,000 people have. Remember, it's been in news, hasn't it? And they're like a massive rave ended up happening in somebody's house because they put it on social media.
The difference though between now and then is then you would have got a pasting.
Oh,
you'd have got a good hiding, wouldn't you?
You mean a physical pasting
Oh,
as well, don't you?
absolutely.
Yeah.
You would have got a good hiding, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I remember being young and well, I don't know if I got a physical pasting, but I definitely I got a firm hand around the ass, you know, and then grounded for what? Well, I think I got grounded for 2 weeks, which doesn't sound like anything, but I remember back in the day when I was young, me and two lads running across a field and going in someone's back garden and nicking his koi carp. Now, to us, it was a fish, right? But to someone else, that's an expensive fish, isn't it?
Yeah.
We didn't know. And we were running across this field to one of the other lads' houses who'd also got a pond to put it in there. Well, we put it in there and thought all was well, but it wasn't. It died. And I got a pasting and I got grounded for 2 weeks. But we were just with the guy who actually did it, one of my friends who did it. We were just with him. He didn't get so much as a pasting or grounding. He was literally scot-free. And I lived for them full 2 weeks. I didn't come out of my bedroom. Well, I did. I came out for school. But it was home, bedroom, for 2 weeks, solid. No parole.
No parole. Yeah, I remember I got grounded for 2 weeks once for forgetting to record Star Trek for my dad.
Seriously?
I did. I forgot.
He must have been angry.
I forgot to record Star Trek for my dad, and he grounded. And I'll always remember because I was always one of them kids that took my punishment. I just was. My sister maybe wasn't. She kind of fight back a little bit, but I was one of them that I just took my punishment and whatever. And I always remember my dad grounded me for you grounded for 2 weeks. And I was like 2 weeks just because I'd forgot to press record on Star Trek. And literally about 2 days later, I was in the house and my dad was like, "What are you doing in the house? Why are you in the house?" And I'm just like, "Because you grounded me for 2 weeks." No, I didn't. You did.
Forgot his own grounding.
Why would I make it up?
Why didn't you just said, "Right, I'm off out"?
I did.
Oh, you
because,
did?
Yeah, because he was like, well, I didn't mean it. Okay.
My dad were very clever. I remember. I can't remember what I did that caused the punishment, but it was really clever. It lasted. This work went on for ages. he basically, I think he must have given me a good old telling off, and then went and got his slipper. And he hit me on the ass with his slipper. Not really hard, but at that point, it hurt. And then he made sure that I watched him put that slipper down the back of the settee, and then sent me out of the room to my bedroom. And then all he had to do then was walk towards the settee in that corner.
Yeah.
And whatever I was doing, whatever behaviour I was doing at the time that he didn't like, as soon as he went towards that corner at settee, well, I stopped.
Yeah.
It put the fear into you.
Why I
knew.
did that? Because his slipper on his foot, but I'd not registered. But it's clever how they do these little techniques when you're kids, right?
The most angry I've ever seen a parent wasn't my own parent. It was Mark's parent. The most angry I've ever seen a parent was Mark's mum.
I can't wait for this story because I don't know it.
And Mark needed to get in the house. He needed to get in the house. And
His own house?
His own house, and his mum and dad weren't in. And the door was locked. And I don't know.
It was somebody in their wisdom gave me some advice on how to open this door with my foot.
Right, okay.
Which was something along the line of, if you kick it just where the lock is, or just where the handle is, then it'll just break the lock, or it'll just open.
Okay.
And now the thing is, what you got to remember, this is one of the wooden doors with a pane of glass.
Yes, one of the old council doors.
The council style
okay.
door. So wood at the bottom, glass at the top.
Okay.
And Mark decided he was going to take this advice on board and open the door.
With his foot.
With everything I got.
It was absolute carnage. He's go on, say it.
So I kicked this door literally with every ounce of my being. Bang underneath the lock.
Underneath the lock, not on it.
Turned the door into a bifold door or a stable door. The bottom half swung open. The top half stayed fixed. The glass straight out the top half and smashed all over the floor.
Brilliant. Literally, we're a few minutes later.
My mum walked round the corner just as I'd just kicked this door in.
Yeah, coming down the path. She was.
The whole thing just collapsed.
Good news is you got in.
Yeah,
Just
she was
about.
fuming, and I mean absolutely fuming. I absolutely legged it. Absolutely legged it.
Did she give you a pasting for
Yes.
Yeah,
Pasty.
yeah. And the thing is that it's interesting, isn't it? That's how we're talking. Like, did you get a pasting for that? Or see, I remember swearing as a kid, and my mum literally put washing up liquid in my mouth.
Really?
Yeah.
To wash your mouth out.
Yeah,
Wash your mouth out.
I actually remember at the infant school, I can't remember his surname, I remember his first name, I'm sure he'd called Daniel. And I remember the teacher washing his mouth out with a bar of soap. It was a thing.
Yeah.
Really?
I remember that.
Do you know what I mean? That's a
And also
schools we're caning.
Can you? Well, I can't remember caning.
Well,
but
I
I remember
don't.
that with the soap vividly. But can you also remember if you turned up to school without your PE kit
Yeah.
and you were doing it in your
pants.
pants?
Doing it in your pants.
You're brown and
Your brown pants.
brown and cream.
Were they old pants?
The brown and cream white fronts.
Do you mean the white pants?
Can you remember 'em?
White pants, but
Can you
they're just
remember 'em?
brown.
They're like brown with like a cream, what do you call it? Like an edging on
Hemming.
them. With a Y on the front.
Mine were just white. Mine were white. There was no brown to be seen on mine.
You're just running around in that in a vest and
yeah.
the plimsolls in your pants.
I don't even remember the vest. Just running around
The
in your
t-shirts.
pants.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think I had Yogi Bear on
they'd
my
end up on a
pants or
register
something
now
like
if they made you do that, wouldn't they?
Absolutely.
Well, I know we're not. Well, Mark, were
Yeah.
you old enough to remember caning at school?
Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't have cane. I never got caned at school because I was good.
No.
But I remember caning being the thing at school. Yeah.
I'm laughing. Sorry. Getting caned at school, like in the 90s, meant you'd be smoking weed, didn't it? Yeah. Oh, I got caned
Or the
at
slipper.
school.
I mean, you get the slipper at school, caning or slipper. You get either of them.
Yeah. And that's what, like, things like that you think back and you think, wow, you go to school and someone else would hit your child, not just you.
Yeah.
You know, even hitting your own child now is seen as no.
And
you
also,
don't do it.
after PE, get in a shower while the teacher were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just naked in
Yeah.
showers and the
Yeah.
teacher's there watching everyone get in a shower.
Yeah.
It's like, What?
Yeah.
But
Strange.
But
So
every
strange.
child in the country be getting homeschooled, wouldn't they? If that would, you just wouldn't have it, would you?
No.
Well, this is what leads on to the question, I guess. The obviously what Seb put in his email, the things that used to be acceptable that aren't now.
Yeah.
And I suppose the question is it right that certain things are not now? Because you listen now and you listen to, like, obviously the thought of a parent hitting the child, or, you know, I'm a parent, I've got 3 children, I'd never dream of hitting them. I just wouldn't. I'd never, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and say that I was beaten as a child. Far from it. But I got the odd crack. I absolutely got the odd crack. But if I listen to my dad, for instance, and stories about how his dad, you know, parented them, you know, which was like a belt, you know, and being hit with a belt and stuff like that. Times have moved on, and I think they've moved on for the better. And obviously, teachers not being able to obviously punish, police officers not being able to do what they can do and stuff like that. My question is it better?
Well, there's 2 ways we can look at this, isn't there? I mean, you're right. Should teachers, for example, be hitting kids at school? No. But as a parent, should you be able to? I mean, I use the word punish, you know, your kids. Then I think you should. But again, it's you know what one parent's going to say is acceptable to hit a kid or my child, another one's going to see it differently. So, like, you know, one whip at your belt to one parent is enough, but then you're going to get some parents just literally beating the crap out of them. So, to answer your question is, I mean, I still think that as a parent you should be able to hit your kids.
Really?
I think you should be able to have that right. But again, that's the problem. You know, one parent's going to go, well, I'm okay. I'm going to hit him 40 times. Well, no. But,
Yeah.
you know, that's the thing. There is no rule book, is there? It's either can you punish your kid? Well, can you not punish? What's the word?
Physically
discipline
punish.
my kids.
Discipline, yeah.
with my sort of hand. Can I do that or can't I? And I think you should be able to have that. I think you should be able to have that right. Because I was disciplined by my parents, and look at me, you know. I've turned out reasonably all right.
I think
Look
that's,
at you. Look at me.
I think that's what we all tend to say, isn't it? You know, I got that, and look at me, and you think, yeah, but that's just how you've come out now because of what you went through.
Yeah.
What would be to say that you'd be even better than you are now if you
of
didn't
course,
get
and this is what
that
makes it so
treatment, you know?
difficult to go. It's not black and white, is it?
No.
Because yes, I'm all right, and we've all been punished by parents to some degree, and we've turned out.
It's
right.
difficult,
Some
isn't it? 'Cause
others won't.
Even, you know, like you said, I was physically reprimanded. You know, if I did something wrong, but I was still mischievous. I still went around and did, you know.
Yeah.
I had still that streak about me that I'd go, that looks like fun. You know,
You still knew that doing that could equal a bit of pain.
yeah,
And you still did it.
Yeah, you know, the risk and reward and all that. But no, but I think it's the whole package, isn't it? It's even if you were mischievous or whatever, but you still knew to say please, thank you, and to respect certain people. That went around the outside of being punished. I think you still get that upbringing.
Did it though? Because I totally get what you're saying, and I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'd never dream of hitting my children. I just wouldn't. It wouldn't. You know, the conversation of whether you should or you shouldn't is a separate conversation. But I think I have bought into the camp of physical. Whether I should have no more rights to smack my child as I have to smack you. Do you get what I mean? They're still a human being, and they're still, you know. So therefore, if it's against the law for me to smack you, why would it then not be against the law for me to smack my 14-year-old child? You know. So I think I certainly am on the camp that I don't think it should be a thing. But what I will say is that there is more of a lack of respect though.
Yeah.
And the thing is that lack of respect, is that coming from the lack of, is it fair to call it corporal punishment? Is that what it's called?
That's what it was called in schools, corporate punishment. Yeah.
I think where the corrective punishment should come from is if it comes from a controlled environment. And I think sometimes if ever you see somebody physically reprimanding a child, or, well, I suppose we are talking about kids, it's as that parent lost control when they're doing so. And when you see parents screaming at the kids, they've lost control, haven't they? Because they're screaming at them. They're not. they're not taking it to one side and telling them that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. Stop. They're screaming out, "Aren't you?" And when that turns into a physical reprimand, that's because that parent's lost control.
Yeah.
They just wallop
Lashing out.
They're just
Lashing out,
exactly.
yeah.
They're just lashing out. And I think back in the day, when we look, I can't remember caning, for example, but the image that I get presented when I think about someone being caned is you get sent somewhere, you hold your hand out, and a teacher,
He's dealing the punishment.
Doesn't lose his temper with you. You just get delivered that punishment. And so, I'm not saying that that's right by any means, but I think where any kind of corrective punishment should come from should be controlled, but it has to be consistent. And I think I think there is an element of a loss of control in society, and I think teachers have lost respect from kids, probably from parents as well, because parents think they know better.
Yeah.
Social media, everyone's an expert, because you can look online and read something, and you can be a medical expert, you can be a DIY expert, you can be an expert on psychology, you can be an expert because you've read it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then you have parents saying, "I'm not having that teacher saying that to my child." Well, you've got to trust that teacher's gone through training, and you've got to entrust that teacher to do right by your child.
Ultimately, that teacher is there just to do a job, to train the children. They shouldn't even have to They shouldn't even have to put up with that behaviour. My
and I
perspective.
agree. That's what
I believe it starts at home.
Yeah.
And again, coming from someone who's not a parent, but I genuinely believe it all stems at home, and that now it's about it's educating kids what that behaviour means, not just why they've done it, but what effects does that have on other people? What they've just done, how does that not just affect them in terms of how does it make them look, how does it make other people feel? What effect has it had on them? So that they're starting to understand the reasons behind why we don't do these things, why it's not acceptable to do this. And by teaching and installing this into them when they're kids, then means that they don't then do it when they're older, and when they go to school they're not having this behaviour, whereas it's just like when we were younger, it was a case of give them a quick slap, it's a bit painful, but you didn't really know, you didn't really have any education as to why you've done what you've done.
Get caught for doing it again.
Yeah,
I'm still going to do it, I'm just not going to get caught.
That's it. It became more about being evasive and how do I get around this, how do I get away with it. I know that's what I was like as a little kid, whereas if I was brought up in today's teachings and the way that parents do seem to be teaching the kids, not all obviously, but some, they are getting an understanding of why they're doing it, why they shouldn't be doing it, and therefore then going, oh, actually I might not do that.
You see, you are right, Rob. Absolutely, you are 100% right. The only problem is going back to what Mark said, that your message is almost diluted, because you can teach your child something or teach them right or wrong, or teach them what that means and this and that other, and then a quick search on Facebook or TikTok, and there could be 1,000 other people giving them a contradiction to that. These people on Facebook or TikTok more than anything now, that are, as Mark said, and I'm doing the air quotes for the purpose of the tape, as Mark would say, experts. These people that go out doing auditing. I mean, audits. There's someone that's not trained, that's got all the research from Facebook or from, and they go out with a drone or with a camera, to police officers or to teachers or to companies. These people have been trained, they've been, and they're telling them what their rights are. They're telling them what you can and can't do. The amount of times that even now my 14-year-old or 12-year-old will turn around to me and say, the teacher can't do that. Yes, they can. No, they can't. Yes, they can. Well, if I got stopped by a police officer, I'd tell them that they can't do this and the other. Yes, they can. And it's just this message that's diluted. You try and teach them what's right and wrong. You try and teach them that, but this message, this overriding message that's just being fed through social media and stuff like that, is that you can do whatever you want. You can feel however you want. You can say whatever you want. And if that's your truth, then that's all that matters. And that is really dangerous. And that this is where it then comes from, where you've then got a lack of respect or whatever, because my children have said to me, when I've said to my kids, you can't say that to your teacher. You can't say that to your teacher. And they've said, why not? And I've said, there's got to be an element of respect. They are your teacher. And the words that came back to me from my children was, I'll respect the teacher when they respect me. And that is scary as hell.
That's dangerous ground, isn't it?
Now, don't get me wrong, we can
Because
talk all day long about whether teachers are trained to the entirety of what should be done and stuff like that. That's a different conversation for a different time. But fundamentally, as far as I'm concerned, people in a position of authority, teachers, police officers, whatever, should always hold at least a baseline of responsibility that should be given.
Yeah,
respect. Even if it's respect. Sorry, thank you. Even if it's respect the position rather than the person, or the title rather than the person.
Yeah.
But my kids truly, truly, truly believe that the only way that they need to show respect to their teachers is if the teacher respects them. And there's an element of truth in that. People should give joint respect, and but that baseline respect is just not there. Now, I've brought my children up to give respect, to morals and politeness and stuff like that. They know all that, but yet they still have this impression that they can almost say or feel or do whatever they want.
Would you trust us with one of your dilemmas? You'd be mad if you did. But anyway, if you feel brave enough, send it to innthechat@gmail.com. That's INN innthechat@gmail.com. Thank you.
We talk about things that were acceptable when we were younger and stuff like that, and times have moved on, and we can sit there and go, well, do you know what? Nostalgia sometimes it pulls you into there were better times, but I think we could all agree around the table that as much as things have changed, society is probably better. Better than it was when we were younger. So these changes that are happening regarding how children and disciplining children and schools and stuff like that, surely that we have to agree that it's moved in the right way, because society is a better.
I'm not so sure I agree with you on that.
Okay.
I don't. When you say society, in what? Because that's. I mean, I know that covers a lot of. That's a big spectrum, but in what way?
More accepting.
Well, we're more accepting, but I think we've had to suffer some fools for that. So, like society, we're more accepting. Without a shadow of a doubt, we are. But are we more respectful as a society? I don't think we are.
No.
I don't think people are respectful to other people.
Whereas, if I look at what my school life would be like now compared to what it was back in the 90s, through growing up with two gay parents, it would be considerably different now than what it was back then. Because back then, the thought for me to say to someone, my mum's gay, was like almost like snigger, laugh.
Yeah. Was it something you talked about, Rob?
Yeah. I didn't hide from it, but I also got some backlash for it.
Right.
Well, it's almost. I'm sure you don't mind me saying, Rob. It was almost the way that times were then, and the ages that people was at, and was that because your mum was gay, it automatically made you gay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was. I mean, it's
that
crazy.
was the mentality.
It's
back
crazy
then.
when you actually think about it. Think about
it.
But that was the mentality, wasn't it, at school and stuff like that?
Absolutely. Almost like it's hereditary. Yeah. That your mum's gay, so whether you wanted it or not.
Yeah.
What?
Wanted it.
I mean, do you know what I mean? And back then, like I went to one school, and it was almost like it was weird because the first school I went to, where I went to juniors and then moved up into high school comp, it was like people knew about it from day dot of me starting, and I don't know why.
That's him with the.
It was a little bit like, he's got gay parents sort of thing. Then when I moved school to a different school, and it was a year or so later, and they all found out, that was a different level of. It felt more sinister.
Right.
Like, he's got gay parents. Like, he must be gay. I don't ever remember anyone saying, and it might have been the age, because when I was at the first school, we would have been 11. And you're almost just coming out of that junior school era.
Yeah.
Like kind of...
A bit jovial.
Yeah, bullying and not really... It went like... People think... The bullying wasn't at much of a level at that point. But by the time you get to 12, 13... and people start getting a bit of testosterone behind them and it becomes a bit more different, that's when you start to see a difference in the way that things were at school. So I would say that, now, kids nowadays, they're taught this from a young age, that these relationships are completely normal.
Yeah.
And I find it's the way of life for us now.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and so it is very different.
Well, I can't listen. I completely understand and accept what both of you've said. Kirk and Rob. As a society and as a country, I think we're very acceptable, and I think that's how it should be. So that's got better, but I don't think as a society. As I said, I don't think we're as respectful to other people. I don't think lots of people don't respect other people's views and opinions. That's why, I think as a country, we're more diverse than ever. I mean, the Brexit thing, that's obviously divided us. COVID's had a huge effect on things. So are people more respectful to each other nowadays? I don't think they are.
I certainly think that the mainstream media have a big part to play in it. And you've only to turn the TV on in the morning, and almost everything they talk about is divisive.
It is.
There are some facts. They talk about a few factual, scenarios. There might be, they talk about the war in Ukraine or the war in, with Israel
Gaza.
and Gaza. But they're forever bringing up opinion-based stories and things that,
You're right, but a lot. This is the thing. Everything back then, when we were talking about things then and now, back when we were younger, if something happened, generally everybody, the country or society would be behind that. So let's take the Queen when she died, for example. The vast majority of people were saddened when the Queen died.
Yeah.
But there were lots of people that were glad that she died. Now, if she died, say back in the 70s or 80s, you wouldn't have heard about these people. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, I
but
think
nowadays,
you wouldn't have heard about them because there was no social media. It's the same as when we talk about parenting and we want our kids to sleep down woods now because there's paedophiles everywhere and there's this, that, and the other. And in actual fact, there were probably just as many then as what there are now in relation to the population. It's just that you don't see it on, on your Google news feed or on Facebook or on, because you've got all these hunters and whatever that go out, and you're seeing it all in front of your face.
Yeah.
Whereas we were all, if you like, blissfully ignorant probably back then that it's all right. Oh, there's a strange man who lives down the street, but he's just strange. Nobody knew anything else. But you only to open your phone and you can see people getting, locked up and so and so got done for this and. Everything's local, isn't it? Everything seems smaller and closer now.
If it's one thing that is for sure, and thank you very much, Seb, for starting this this topic and conversation. Is that things have certainly changed. And I think if I was to talk to my mum or dad, in the generation above me, they'll have seen it change, twofold and threefold, and then we talk about what we teach our kids, and then it's all just trying to make things better, isn't it? It's just always, we should be more tolerant. Thank you. I was going to say toleratable.
Don't get like Rob.
But we should be more tolerant, and we should be more balanced with people, and we should respect people and respect people's opinions, and I do think that as a society, from a balanced point of view, I do think that we are better than we were, and I do. I also agree that there's an element of what we have lost is a little bit of respect, and I think that's something that's got to do a bit more of a full circle.
It's like when we've knocked the walls down, we've knocked them all down, haven't we?
Yes, yeah. But yeah, I mean, thank you very much, Seb. And I tell you something, if we get more emails like that can set us off, then
we actually have.
What?
It's not an email.
Oh,
we've had a voice note.
Voice note. Oh,
and
hey.
The reason why you want to see it is
have
because...
you printed it off?
I am printing it off because it's a voice note, numpty. It was on Instagram.
Is it on cassette?
Yeah, it's on cassette, yeah.
It's on cassette, Mark.
It's on cassette.
Is it on tape?
It's a reel
to
reel.
It was on Instagram, and if you give me a second, let me find it.
Okay.
And I'll play you.
Okay.
Somewhere in here.
It's exciting.
Okay. Right. What's it about?
So, well, you'll find out, won't you?
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
This.
Hi guys, it's Dan from Doncaster. I've been listening to the podcast recently, really enjoying what you guys are doing, so keep it up. Really enjoyed the Christmas special, that was brilliant. I was just flicking through TikTok the other day though, and I thought this would be a good question for your podcast. So the question is, If you could punch an animal in the face with no repercussions whatsoever, what would it be and why? There's a question to get your teeth stuck into. Cheers.
What's his name?
Dan.
Dan from Doncaster.
Dan from Doncaster. What question, Dan?
I'm Barry from Bowlby.
Can you remember that? Barry from Bowlby.
I'm Barry from Bowlby.
I have to think about this.
That's a good question, though, isn't it?
Dan from Doncaster. So what? Sorry, what was it? It was if you could punch
any animal in the face with no repercussions, what would it be?
What a random question. I love it.
That is a
Absolutely.
random question. Has it got to be a face? I mean, what if it's like a centipede? It's a small thing.
That's what I thought, because at first I thought, be a wasp. Smack a wasp right in the...
Mine would be, you know, on that hot summer's night when you're laid in bed, you've got all your windows open and it's absolutely roasting.
Yeah.
You're struggling to sleep.
There's a crocodile.
And that fly.
Yeah.
That fly.
Yeah. Or mosquito.
Mosquitoes? Where do you live?
You get mosquitoes in this country.
I am Rob. I'm from Puerto
I
Rico.
don't.
Why did you pick Puerto Rico?
I don't know.
Puerto Rico.
Well, Burcroft doesn't sound the same, does it? But nah, yeah, that fly. If I could punch that fly in the face,
I get this vision of the animal being
Oh, I've got
made
one. I
bigger,
think.
you know. So it's like a human-sized face.
could you imagine the noise that would make?
I know.
Yeah, that was a crazy film. That The Fly. Was that Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff
was it?
Goldblum, yeah.
So yours is a fly, Mark.
I would punch that
Okay.
fly in the face.
Right.
Okay.
Rob.
I have to say, right now, it'd be a cat.
Cat.
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
I am.
Now this
Hang
is
on.
going to ruffle some feathers.
I know.
It's ruffled. It's ruffled my feathers.
That's the end of your
I'm not
bacon
happy with that.
sandwiches.
Get ready.
Go, sir.
Get ready.
Go, sir. This
I'm punching you, I
Oh,
think.
I would punch that cat right.
Hang on a minute. Are you talking about...
That's something
Have you
different
got a
then.
cat?
I mean, I haven't got a cat, but I'm a cat lover, and I'm going to be punching its fist face. Now,
I tell you.
hang on. Are you talking about a cat that comes into your... Or you're talking about cats in general?
So I'm talking about
You've got a cat that uses your garden as a toilet,
Yeah.
haven't you?
1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5.
But you can only punch
Wow.
one.
I know.
So you're punching
right?
Tom or...
Just to be clear, I wouldn't really punch a cat in the face.
you can't backtrack now.
Yeah.
I'd shoot
he
them,
would.
but I wouldn't punch them. No.
Disclaimer: no, he wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. It just drives me mental.
Here we go.
Right. Now, this is... And again, I've got friends, one of who is in this room, that clearly likes cats. And I've
love
got
cats.
friends and family that own cats. So when I say it, it's more that it's accepted and it's just the done thing. And I go, why? So I've got a dog, and when I want that dog to take a poo, I have to put a lead on it and I have to take it for a walk to the nearest grass where it does a poo, and then I have to pick it up and I've got to go and put it in a bin, because that's what I have to do as a dog owner.
Why is that?
You can use a doggy bag though, yeah.
Yeah,
Like a poo bag,
I
okay,
do
yeah.
use a bag, yeah. I take it home and just put it in my
What?
pocket.
Yeah, but why is this the cat's fault?
Right. So there. But then, as a cat owner, it is the done thing that the cat just goes out. Now I get that's not the cat's fault, but it's still the cat that's taking the shit on my garden. And so I just want to take that cat and go, no, not on my garden. Do it someone else's. I'm not bothered about that. Just not my garden.
We don't have such a nice garden for it to poo in.
Well, who says I've got a nice garden? I have got a nice garden, but
I've
it
just said
might
it.
not be a nice. Whether it's a nice garden or it's not a nice garden, it just frustrates me that that can just happen. They can just come in your garden.
How big
they
of a
can just-
problem is this? How many poos are you picking up a week?
So,
Not.
at this time of year, I don't really go out into the back garden. But at Christmas,
It's going to be overwhelmed
my
with
mum
poos.
brought her dog. My mum's
Just a pile of it.
My mum brought her dogs round, right? And I said to her, look, if dogs do anything, I'd appreciate if you pick dog poo up before, just pick it up and then chuck it in bin. Yeah. She went out there on Christmas Day. She come back in and she went, Rob, I have sorted the dogs out, but there's about 19 poos on there.
19?
About 19.
No, 19.
Yeah. Dog poos out there that are not
Quite precise,
mine. And I was like,
19.
well, it's not Lottie's, because Lottie only... Well, she doesn't go out to poo and she doesn't do it on garden. She does it when we take her for a walk. And I've been out, and yeah, they're all cats. And you're like, oh my gosh. And again, not the owner's fault, and it's not the cat's fault, but it just... If I'm going to take it out on anyone, it's the cat. So, I'd punch a cat in the face.
Wow.
Right, okay. So you
There
don't
you
like
go.
cats? Kirk, because I've thought of one now.
Go on, then you go first.
Well,
Have I riled you up enough to think of one?
yeah, I'm going to punch Rob in the face.
Although I do think we should club together and buy Rob a cat.
Yeah.
I think that'd be funny.
A cat scoop.
Yeah. Anyway, so my animal would be a shark. The only reason, because obviously I've only just heard this question, so I was trying to think of an animal that I really don't. Well, I don't like, and one that I could punch in the face and have no repercussions. Because in real life, if I punched a shark in the face, it'd probably eat me.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't punch him in the face, it'd probably still.
Apparently,
eat
you're
me.
not meant to punch it in the face. You have to
You're
poke
supposed
it in
to
the eye.
poke it in the eye. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I thought they punched him on the nose.
I thought they punched him on the
Punch
nose.
him on the
Yeah,
eyes.
yeah.
But either way,
You should put the finger in the eye or a finger in the gill.
Oh, I wonder where you're going to go with that. Well, either way, I wouldn't want to try it to see what would happen. But if I could, to answer the question, if I punched it in the face, no repercussions, I would do that because I don't like sharks.
Imagine how slow it would be underwater as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because end of the day, there's only one winner between
Slow motion
you and a
shark's
shark.
face
isn't there?
crumpling up.
Yeah. Well,
Genuinely.
it depends whether you're in or out of water.
Yeah, well,
If you're out of water, then
there's not many sharks I see walking around Medwall
There
or
you go,
something.
you see.
You know what I mean? Or just generally in the street. So
Kirk, what's yours?
It would be a shark.
I've been since I've heard the question. I've been thinking, so my answer would be a snake.
Because you just don't like
Just
snakes.
because I don't like snakes.
Bit like me with sharks. Yeah, okay.
It's as simple as that. You know, they've never done really anything wrong to me, but I was sat thinking, what? And I just thought, do you know what? If it's one thing that really, really does like make my skin crawl or whatever, is the slimy, slithery.
But
little
you know they're not
bastards.
slimy, don't you?
Yes, I've been told. I've never touched one, but I have been told that they're not slimy.
Would
or
you
whatever,
dare
but-
touch one? Would you dare have one round your neck?
No,
No?
no.
I wouldn't have a problem with snakes. Fine with me.
Sounds
No.
like a fear. You didn't say that when we did fears.
No, it's not. It's not a fear. I wouldn't say it's a fear. I don't look at a snake and think it's going to eat me or like that. I've got to run away. I just think
Wouldn't cuddle up to one.
I just think they're horrible things. I just think that. I don't know.
You just don't like
I mean,
them, yeah.
literally, you've got an animal there that can crush people to death and eat them whole, but yet people keep them as pets. I don't understand. I really don't understand. So yeah, I'd punch a snake in the face.
Well, I think from that, we've established that we really could do with more people sending us more messages in because we've just had two blinding questions that we've managed to get a full episode out of that some would say probably better than the other episodes that we've done.
Absolutely.
Please.
Mark, on that piece of paper that you've got there, is that a photograph he's put on that email?
Is there a photograph on it?
Yeah.
Yes.
You said that a bit more convincing. You said that while you were shaking your head.
Why were you going with this?
Mark, there's a picture on the email, isn't there?
Yes, there is. Yes.
Right, okay. In order for people that can't see it, because you can't see the email, we'll put it on our social media. We'll put it on Instagram. For anyone that doesn't know, we've got an Instagram and a Facebook and a Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter.
Yep.
We'll put it on there and you can see the picture that Seb put on there.
Absolutely, and in all fairness, guys, I just want to take this opportunity to thank you very much for listening. We really do appreciate it. I mean, we started this back in... we
started talking in August, didn't we?
We started talking, yeah.
Then we started recording us talking.
Yeah, we started recording us talking, and do you know what? We've got a few episodes out there in December, and it's absolutely blown us away. The positive feedback that we've had, we know that people are out there listening. We know we'll keep doing it while ever you guys are enjoying it, because we're absolutely loving doing it. But please reach out to us. Please reach out to, we've got innthechat@gmail.com. That's double N, as Rob would say.
Yeah.
Innthechat@gmail.com. Please reach out, send your voice notes. We really appreciate it, and I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you very much. I'm having a blast.
I'm having an absolute blast. It's been great. Thank you.
Me too. So
And on that note,
Yeah,
See you next
absolutely,
week.
guys. We'll see you next week.
see you later.
Have a good week, boys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Do you have a dilemma? Maybe a burning question you're longing to be answered? Or you just want to get in touch with us? Why not drop us a voice note or a message over email at innthechat@gmail.com. That's two N's, not one N, because one N, it doesn't matter. Innthechat@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you.